Hi, everybody. So we are live, all right? So it's our usual Tuesday Q&A, and today we have an interesting conversation that we are having. Today we're looking at how much is too much when it comes to screen time. How much is too much? Yes, last week we had a conversation on when should I give my child a smartphone. And that conversation was, quite intriguing. If you haven't watched it, if you haven't seen it, you can catch replay on right here on our YouTube channel. So this session is streaming live both on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook group, and also on our Facebook page as well. So you're welcome here. If you're joining us for the very first time, you're welcome. Just in the comment section, tell me where you're watching me from, and you can just say hello from wherever you're watching me from. My name is Wendy Ologe, and I'm streaming live from the capital city of Nigeria. All right, that's Abuja, Federal Capital Territory. And I'm a parent coach, and I'm also the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy. I am the author of 3 best-selling parenting books, and now, just in 1 week, last week, we've added 3 very important guides that every family must have. So the books that I've been privileged to author are Connect to Correct, The Discipline That Works, and From Yelling to Calm. These books are bestsellers. If you haven't read any of them, I urge you to get a copy and start your journey from there. I'm also the convener of the Intentional Parent online parenting conference, which is about the biggest parenting conference that you have around here online. All right. And we've run for 3 years. So we also do a lot of other stuffs, right? So I am the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy. The Intentional Parent Academy is a platform where we teach parents, the things that are very valuable for them to actually learn and to also be able to raise children in this century that will be able to actually stand the time. Hi, David. I see you from Lagos. Hi, Jumi. I see you. Thank you for joining me. Abiola Tinurut. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you're watching us from Facebook, please kindly say in the chat comment section where you're watching me from, and also say hello. A hello will actually make my day. Okay. All right. So if you're joining us for the first time, you are in the right place. What we do here is have conversations around parenting, very mind-boggling conversations. And like I mentioned from the beginning, we shared on last week, very profound. When should I give my child a phone? Many times parents have reached out to me. So when I share topics, the topics that we share are topics that, the questions that come to us, within the week. And then we come on Tuesday, every Tuesday, to share right here. And it streams, live as we're doing this. And one of the questions that came last week, the previous week, was, when should I give my child a phone? I want to give my child a phone now. I want to give my child a phone later. Hi, Joyce from Canada. Thank you so much for joining me. All right. So, and a lot of the times, I realized that parents actually didn't know exactly what to do. Yes, we're saying these children are not supposed to have phones, but they have the phones with them. What do we do? So we created the media guide, and that media plan guide, I know a lot of people dived into that offer, and that offer was just for a 1,000 naira. You have a media guide right in your email, and people have gone to recreate, those things. And parents even reached out to me recently to say, I had to retrieve the gadgets I have given to my children. If you have given your child a gadget and you never actually had any form of guide, please retrieve it and begin to look at how to create a plan. So that family media plan actually gives you a leverage, gives you something that you will be able to create, plan. So it's just like when a child wants to drive, you just hand the child over a car key and tell the child, oh yeah, zoom off. That's what we've done with the gadgets that we've given our children. And we decided to create something that can work for every parent. And that's what exactly we were able to do. So we're so glad that we were also able to actually create this, in form of a tool that can help you. I'm going to share something interesting we did because parents reached out to us after they read that guide and said, please, these are, some of the guides that we want. We have created 2 more guides, and I will share about it by the time we finish this conversation. Hi, Juliet from UK. Thank you for joining me. Josie from Lagos, my baby. Hi, Ekoma Lois. Thank you so much for joining me. Rachel, thank you for Machuku. Thank you everyone for joining me. I feel so honored every minute, every time we're here and people join from all over. I don't take it for granted. Let's dive in straight into the conversations today. So today we are doing screen time and addictions. What is too much? So after the guide went viral, last week it went viral. Please, if you don't have a copy of the family media guide, please, you will see in the description how to get your family media guide and get, plug into it. That's by the way. But after that, parents reached out to say, so what is too much? What is too much? So this is me coming to share with you what I know about what is too much when it comes to screen time. In fact, I went ahead at the beginning of this year when the pandemic started, right, to create an ebook. I'm going to be giving the ebook. Hi, Rita. My yard people are here. The people I call my yard people are the VIP parents of the TIP Academy. Thank you, Rita. Thank you for being here. All right. So, screen time and addiction, how much is too much? In fact, it was actually the people in the VIP group that made me started to write this book as a free ebook to give out to parents. We are doing the finishing touches and it will be ready soonest. I'm hoping that before the week runs out, we will be able to get the material where I'm sharing the conversation that we are having today. It's so important to me because I have seen that a lot of the times, it's not that parents do not want to do these things. It's just that sometimes we're overwhelmed. And the other times, we don't know what to do. That's the truth. I've been there. So I can, attest to that, right? Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. So, screen time and addiction, how much is too much for your child? Engineer Sam Smart Peters, thank you, ma'am. Engineer Smart Peters is one of the VIP parents as well, and he's a father. So fathers are also welcome. All right. So, how much screen exposure is too much for our children? We put out this question sometime in our community, in our alumni, the TIP alumni, and a lot of parents actually came to agreement that we must limit the screen time for our children, but they couldn't say how much. Now, the problem was, what is actually much? So when we say screen time, what exactly is much? Television can be a powerful teacher. That's the truth. So in what I'm going to be sharing with you, which is what I'm sharing from this book that I'm putting together, Screen Time and Addictions, What is Too Much? Television can be a powerful teacher. However, there are risks. If you're just joining me, make sure that you share links to your friends so that they can join us. Share, invite people so that they can join us from everywhere. Don't forget to share. A lot of friends need to hear this information. It is not an information that is, readily out there. So, the truth of the matter is, television can be a very powerful teacher. Television can be a very powerful teacher. So, there are risks associated with abused screen time. There are risks associated with abused screen time. You must understand that. So, risk like violence, all right? Risk like sexualization, okay? As well as health challenges as well. So while the content of what the child is watching, which is the argument I've had a lot of parents share and say, oh, well, it depends on what they are watching. What if they are watching Discovery? While that conversation is there, believe you me, there's more to it. The amount of time your child spends on the screen is equally important as the media, all right, that your child is going to have access to. Television has the potential to produce both positive and negative results, and we must understand that fact clearly. Okay, so apart from the amount of time that your child spends on the screen, other facts can influence the effect of screen viewing in children, which includes their developmental level, all right, and their individual susceptibility, and if the child, watch these things alone or with their parents. So there are a lot of things to actually look at when it comes to screen time and what is too much for your child. So the influence of media on the psychological development of a child is high, very high, which is why we're screaming that you must have a media plan in your home. And it is important for us to understand that some of those things are, great ways to be able to create the kind of disciplinary strategy that we actually want. I shared last week in the video where someone had come to my house 3 times, somebody who works on an inverter, and the person had asked, I've come here 3 times, I've never seen your children watch TV. It was during the day. I had a smile and then, went into conversation with him. But one thing is sure, with a lot of the things that we do not consider our family value system, while we're doing that. It's important that parents provide guidance for their children on age-appropriate use of media. Too much screen exposure can have enormous negative effect on the child. Enormous. Enormous. And because we realize that your media plan, for you to create a media plan that is adaptable, you might not be able to do this without having a family value, having a family vision, and having a family mission. And for you to actually be able to also reiterate some of these values, you need to have, some kind of organized setting, or not organized, not strictly organized, but what we call the family meeting. The family meeting where you're able to, from time to time, reiterate some of those things that you have been able to do. Too much screen exposure can have, effects. So parents must learn to keep tabs on their children's screen time and set limits. There's no conversation on that. You must set limits on what is too much and on things that are passing the wrong values. Now, the problem usually is a lot of parents do not even understand what their values are. It is easy for us to sit down and say, yes, I want my children to be this, to be that. Do you have this put down? Do you have this written anywhere? That these are the values that you want inculcated in the system in your home. See, you are the CEO of your family unit. So the family is like a company. There's no company that gets out there without setting out on a right footing. If you do that, then you are bound to fail. Hi, mom. My mom is here watching. Hello, mom. Welcome. All right. So you find out that you are bound to fail. So you need to understand to treat your family as a company. Which company goes into existence without a vision, without a mission, without the values that we propagate this country? We need to begin to consciously build these things in our children. It has become expedient, especially in these times where we live. Just today, someone shared something, on their system, and I saw where the person shared on how predators now have a curriculum for grooming people to be predators. Crazy, right? A lot of crazy things out there. So the truth of the matter is, you cannot take things for granted anymore. You need to stand up and begin to look at things. What can I do more? Because the truth remains that what you can do, it's a subject of whatever, your internal values, you're putting out there. So your value system has become key. Parents must learn to keep tab and ensure that whatever it is that your children are watching are not putting out the wrong values in any form. All right, thank you, mom. All right, in any form. While we want our children to be tech savvy, I shared this last week, we must also understand and weigh the associated risk of too much time. Now, everyone lost in a screen is a very common sight in many families today. Many parents today are concerned to know how much time is too much, even though a lot of parents actually think that TV is an important learning tool for their children. That's the truth. Okay? No doubt, we're not doubting that. But we took a survey sometime last year, and here was my findings. Right, parents believe educational media is very important to a child's IQ development. Number two, parents believe that provided they are monitoring what their children are watching, then there's no problem. It doesn't matter. So while wanting our children to be tech savvy and a need to entertain them while we work is very understandable, we must also understand the weight of all the associated risk. I remember that few months ago we shared the statistics of what's required for your child to be on screen per time, and a lot of parents said, "Oh, it's not like that. It's not the same thing. Why do you want to say that these things are sorry? Why do you want to say that these things are the same thing?" So I'm going to share this guideline from the American Academy of Pediatricians, and we don't have such guidelines down here in Africa. So I'm going to share what is readily available. The guideline says these are the recommendations. This is not my recommendations. These are the recommendations. Infants 18 months are younger and younger, no screen at all. So experts say that between 18 months and younger than that, you should not put your children on screen. Television inclusive. Yes, you heard me right. I know that this is something that we want to. I've shared it once, and it brought up a lot of uproar, in the group where people were saying, "What do you mean? My 18-year-old or less cannot watch TV?" That's the recommendation. Children between 2 and 5, 1 hour per day. Children 6 years and older to be determined and monitored by their parents. But you know the truth. When you look at these things and look at it as something that is not achievable, then it becomes so. It is not achievable to you because you do not have any plan on ground. If you do have a plan, this is absolutely very achievable. All right, if you are hearing anything profound, please chat in the comment section as we go on, in this conversation. Thank you again for joining me, wherever you're joining me from. I'm glad to have you here. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. All right. So studies show that 18 months and younger are most vulnerable to screens. 18 months and younger are the most vulnerable. These are the things that the brain is wired to learn. Sorry. These are the things that the brain is wired to learn at that age. Languages, it requires real life interactions, not technology. For that child to actually learn them, all right, it requires real life technology, not real life interactions, not technology. That's the truth. You need to understand that, and this is very valid, very, very, very valuable. All right. Hi, Abiodu. Very, very, very valuable. Thank you, Adiola. I see you from Abidjan. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, so Ben, thank you, Uncle Ben. I'm also going to share some of the things that Uncle Ben shared with me when he saw this topic. We had a conversation backstage on it, and he shared some very profound, stuff with me that we will share with you. Thank you, sir. And it requires real-time interaction. So for most parents, I know that cutting off screen for infants is very challenging. I know, but and we must understand that these things, they are very key. As much as the number of hours spent on screen is a determinant of what is too much, but there are other factors. Now I'm going to share other factors with you as well. Does this screen time interfere with daily activities. Now, this checklist, was shared in this book that I'm putting together. Like I said, it's something that I've put together that I'm going to share. It's a free ebook that we're going to share out there and give it to. It's just a few pages, but the well crafted, the developed one is going to be put out, a lot more later. So, does screen time interfere with their daily activities? That's number one. Does it cause conflict at home? That's number two thing you want to check. Does it cause conflict at home? If this screen time causes conflict at home, you need to watch it. Is it the only activity that brings joy to your child? So is it only screen time that brings joy to your child? If that is the case, there's a problem. Does your child sneak in to use screen, gadgets, whatever? Then there's a problem. Is your child frustrated when he cannot use the screen? You tell the child you can't watch TV, the child is throwing tantrum, there is a problem. Is it the only thing that motivates your child? Screen time. In fact, if your child does not watch anything on screen, then your child will not be motivated. I've seen people use this as a reward system. So you do something good, so we give you TV to watch. I know that this is very common. If you have had that challenge, please write in the comment section. Tell me if you have ever seen yourself, sitting there and saying, "Oh, so if you finish doing this, I will reward you with watching television." Have we done that? Have you seen yourself doing that? All right. So I worked on a guide that will help you know what exactly is too much. And like I said from the beginning of this conversation, I'm sharing with you from that guide. So from what you've read, do you think your child is getting too much screen time? Do you think you can keep screens away from your child 0 to 18? Let me see your comment. Let me see your comment. What techniques are you using? Let me see your comment. Do you think it's possible? Do you think that there's something you want to do? So why should you reduce your child's screen time? Now, this is the main facts, the main cocoa of this whole conversation. All right. I would like to establish the fact that screen time includes, right, your smartphones, your computer games, the internet. Many parents say that these tech gadgets, that they use it to entertain their children because they are convenient. Yeah. Anytime I say this all the time, if your parenting, is not making, if there's something not making you uncomfortable about what you're doing, and you're thinking, I need to do this better, I need to do this better, then you need to sit back and think again. You need to sit back and think again. All right. So if you're using TV time as a consequence or as a reward, you might want to actually take that out of that whole system. All right. So people say that they use this, as a reward system, as something, you want to just put back. Oh yes, Adeola, you hear things like, I'm bored, since they can't read all day. Awesome. It will interest you to know. All right. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult when you don't have other things. Awesome, great. All right. I like the conversations going on this. Okay. It will interest you to know that the effect of too much screen is no longer about the education, the social cultural values, or even whether the content is appropriate or not. It has become a medical issue as well. Oh, yes. It has also become a medical issue as well. The truth is, even parents have not been able to discipline themselves enough as regards screen time. When we were writing the value guide, we just built that value guide on request. In fact, a lot of parents actually went ahead to make payment for us to build that value guide. And when we were working on that value guide, sorry, let me plug my phone. When we were working on that value guide, one of the things that I shared is how parents want to look at these values for their children and not think that this has nothing to do with their children really. First of all, it has everything everything to do with you as an individual. Okay? Everything to do with you as an individual. So you want to ask, what is even my value system as regards screen time? What values have I created around screen time? Okay? It is possible to reduce screen time? Oh, yes. Very, very, very correct. Very, very possible. All right? So you want to ask, what kind of values have you built around yourself when it comes to this? So when we talk about the value, the family value, we're talking about the family value that pertains to you, not just the children. It is what you live. Children live what they see. It has nothing. It's what you live that will become, everything that will help them to know. So, like I said, it has also become a very big issue. So I'm particularly more concerned screen times, especially in entertainment, video games, the internet. These days, please, I am saying this again. Do not put your child in front of any screen, gadget, whatever. Your child that is, old enough to own a gadget, whatever it is, video games, without creating a family media plan. We have a guide that can help you without creating a family media plan. I'll share how you can get that guide, at the end of this whole session. I found out that a lot of tech, giants are very low tech parents as well. So this is not to say that our children should not be tech savvy. The world has moved, but you must be aware of the dangers of what is too much. These are some of the reasons why you should limit screen time for your children. They include effect on weight. I had written this, and when I was having a conversation earlier on today with Ben, and we're talking about this same conversation, he shared some stuff with me. I just smiled, when I saw it. Right? So I'm going to also, share with you about some of these dangers and why you must work on these things. All right, screen time is trance. They are trance inducing. This is why it's easy to learn stuff subconsciously when you're watching them. So, violence, a lot of things that happen is actually as a result of some video games that children actually play. So you want to look at that. This is one. Two, it rewires the brain center. It rewires the brain center, which means your child will need more and more screen time to feel the pleasure. Of course, that means that they cannot, you need that attention. So the ability to focus will now depend on these rewards. Remember dopamine. Dopamine is the reward hormone. That's what we'll call it, dopamine. So dopamine is the reward hormone. So the more screen time, the more ability they can, concentrate on anything. So you need to actually, look at this critically. All right. So this, and we also say damages to their heart. We also say sleep disruption as well. All right. Digital cocaine. So I recently found out that Chinese researchers called screen addiction digital cocaine. So you're wondering if it has become hard to wean your children off screens. Digital cocaine. They get agitated anytime you talk about it, or they get depressed. Yes, it's become something that they just get their themselves immersed in. I got curious about too much screen, because I saw a child last year who actually was going through a lot of trauma as regards, being able to, they were trying to wean him off screen, and it was a terrible experience. So I got this book, Glow Kids, How Screen Addiction is Hijacking Our Kids and How You Can Break the Trance. In this book, the author said that I think, he runs a rehab. So the author was saying that he found it easier to treat heroin and heroin addicts than people who were addicted to video games or become social media dependent and all that. Now, his reason was that tech addiction, just like every other addiction, will need some process of detox. All right. So this class, I won't want us to go so much into the addiction part and all that. You agree with me that it's very difficult in our current tech-fueled society where there are screens everywhere. Everywhere you turn, there's a screen. There are also several researches on screen and how it affects the brain. There's a particular finding on how it can damage the insula, which is the part of the brain involved in our capacity to develop empathy. Involved in our capacity to develop empathy. So, and compassion for others. So, it means that a lot of screens, too much screen can damage the insula. And this insula is actually the part of the brain that has the capacity to develop empathy, compassion and others, and ability to integrate physical signals with emotions. All right? So, aside the obvious link to violent behavior, there are skills required to build interpersonal relationship. I have said it before. The skills that your children will need to survive in the 21st century is not learned on the screen. Brains are mini making machines. The brain learns through interactions and experiences. So if a child is fed with too much screen time, the brain cannot develop properly. It will affect their learning and their thinking. It will affect their learning and their thinking. It also creates, according to what Ben and I was discussing earlier, it creates a false view of reality of the world. So the children start to see the world incorrectly, and they are constantly trying to strive for false ideals that do not exist. All right. Then the next one that while we're talking shared was that made so much profound. This thing was it affects the immunity. Now I told you that screen time actually has its effects on health issues, not just the things that we are sharing commonly. So it affects immunity because overstimulation of these dopamine centers of on the body chemicals, and they are not well maintained anymore. So when they don't have the screen, the brain will perceive a threat and the stress hormones will surge. So people whose children watch a lot of TV will relate to this because the children will always seem unhappy when they are not with the screen. So you can see how this is a whole circle. And in fact, the bigger part of it is that this also creates an unhealthy behavior. There's going to be too much unhealthy craving for bad food because of the kind of screen time that you have. Unhealthy behavior for bad. So you have issues of weight, you have issues of all sorts of things, all right? And in this whole thing, and then it's a whole lot of battle. And most importantly, it will affect the learning and the thinking skills of your child. So the following educational problems is also as a result of too much screen: decreased attention span, underdeveloped and delayed language abilities. So when you put your 18-month-old and less in front of the screen, you are going to delay his ability to learn languages. All right? Or even underdevelop it. So there's also going to be decreased critical thinking skills, like we shared earlier, and decreased intrinsic motivation for learning. So a study in 2010 found out that screen time for children at 6 months is associated with less cognitive development by 14 months. The truth is, the more time your child spends on watching screens, even if it's an educational content, somebody is asking me, the less time they spend gathering knowledge from experiences in the real world. Life is made up of experiences in the real world. The skills we'll always need to survive is, number one, deep thinking. You can help me write that in the comment section. Deep thinking. That's number one. Number two, ability to differentiate facts and hype. You don't learn that on the screen. Creativity is not learned on the screen either. Self-reflection, awesome tool. You don't learn that on the screen. These skills are not learned in front of any screen, but they are learned through face-to-face communications, hands-on exploration of the world, opportunities for silence, which is one of the things that we don't even see. This self-reflection skill in fact, it's almost dead. Time to dream. Children don't even have time to dream anymore. Yesterday night, during conversations, our daughter said that she wanted time that, she wanted to think, that thinking time before she sleeps. Does your children even have thinking time? Can they think and dream for themselves? Or are you just blocking their creative imagination? All right? You need to understand these skills are not learned on any screen. You don't learn it on a screen. So you must understand that as you are putting your children in front of the screen, you need to get these things and put it together and say to yourself, what works? Let your children strive. Minimize and mitigate and model healthy use of screens. Stop being lazy about these things. I've said this over and again. If you do not, if parenting is not for everybody, so the excuses of, oh, I don't have time, that's the only thing that keeps the children busy, is a dead excuse. Dead excuse, especially in this century, is a dead excuse. What can you do? The first thing you want to do is that children mirror their parents. You must encourage creative activities by party. Have you modeled healthy screen time? When last did you drop your phone to play a game with your children? Yesterday night I was playing Monopoly with our son, having conversations, deep, meaningful conversations with him. Deep, meaningful conversations with him. You must create this time. There is no substitute to it. So don't tell me it's because I don't have time. You need to create it. You need to find a way to make that time happen. All right? So if you're watching me today, the first thing you need to do is to create that time. The second thing you need to do is to create a family media plan that will be followed and respected by every member of the family. Family media plan. In fact, someone chatted me this morning and said, I had to retrieve my children's gadgets because when I read through that family media guide you did a sales on, I was blown away. If you do not have a media plan in your home, and part of what we've done today is that, so parents went back and said, please, to create this in an easy template has become a problem for us. So we created a guide that can help you with templates, printable templates that can help when they are out with real stuff. You know what they remember? The values that you have lived. Created this, and it took us a lot of time, and we were going to put out this guide to sell at 2,000, but we decided that in the next 24 hours, this guide will sell for 1,000 naira instead of 2,000 naira for only 24 hours. Just the same way that the family media plan, we launched last week, and after 24 hours, we closed that offer. This offer is only for 24 hours. So if you want to build a family value guide, a family value systems, you can get this guide to put it. And what is even interesting is that I now saw that to retrieve this value system, you can create a family meeting. We have family meeting in my home. Families who actually get involved in frequent family meetings are usually, they usually have a lot of result when it comes to solving problems, when it comes to teaching, because there's a lot of things embedded in this family meeting. So if you're having a lot of struggle and all that, this family meeting can also help you. So what we did was that we built another guide, the family meeting guide. But for only today, man, for 1,000 naira, you will get this family meeting guide for free. Only in 24 hours. Please. After that, the meeting plan will also sell for 1.5, and the value also sell for 1.5. If you want to get all the 3 guides, all you need to do is to pay 2,500 naira. If you already have one of the guides, all you need to do is to pay 1,000 naira and you get the 2 other guides. All right, 1,000 naira and you get the 2 other guides. This this these things. All right. So we say create a family media plan. So in that family media plan, encourage outdoor play. The other morning, we woke up on a Saturday morning. We didn't make breakfast. We didn't do anything. We just started create it, encourage it. Let your children stop sitting your children in front of TV, playing game all day, watching TV all day. What is that? So how do you want to build a child who can have meaningful children, who can survive in the 21st century? The truth is, the Gen Z is going to have a problem with social skills. And because they're locked up. They're locked up. You know, few weeks ago, all right, a lot of parents, we had a class in our VIP circle for your Gen Z child. You know, a lot of people will hear that and they will say, why are we building this? The world is no longer, the world is no longer what it used to be. Do you know that some of these things I shared with you, we all learned these things on playground. We all learned these things on playground. Some of these things I said was on playground. So when we were growing up, you just go on playground, you just learn these things, everything is fine and all that. But today, these children are not playing. So the question you want to ask yourself is that how do I create a social circle that will build social skills for my children? Let me say this to you. You are not going to, your children are not going to make money if they don't build their social skills. One day I'm going to share on financial, creating financial literate children, right? Your children won't be able to make money if you do not, if they do not have a social skill. Social skill is what gives you the ability to create wealth. It's not really what you learn in school. What you learn in school is okay. What you learn in school is good. But believe you me, if your child cannot navigate your world, cannot, have deep, meaningful conversations with people, cannot critically think, cannot sit down and reflect, and not you're setting your child up for failure. You're setting your child up for, and I have seen that happening in our today world, where parents are constantly setting their children up for failure without even knowing. Your children don't have any form of social skill. They don't greet nobody, nothing. I remember that we went to VSF, to go and do visa one of those days, and then we were seated, and the children walked in. They were walking in and walking past, no social skills, no know how to say hello. I don't blame the children. I blame you. I blame you. I don't blame the children. I don't blame the children. And our children went and greeted the person, that were having this conversation, and when I was doing the I think the snapping, and the guy called me and said, please, I want to know why only your children, were the children who have greeted me from morning till 2 p.m. today. You are setting your child up for failure if you're not able to create a system that can work. Stop keeping your children in front of screen. It's not going to do them any good. It's not going to do them any good. Come up with creative ways to teach your children without the screen. You must do that. Come up with creative way. When you create that family media plan to help you, begin to look at ways that you can teach your children to socialize. If you want to reduce screen time, so your reduction of screen time So you need to model healthy behaviors for your child. So enough system that works in our home. So you need to look at what works in your home. This is very, very, very important for us to look at. What system away, from this class, take away the fact that you want to go and create your family, make your family you're running. The business of, the business of family. All right. So today, go back, look at how you can create a media cannot be your media plan. For instance, there are a lot of things that we don't do as regards media that a lot of people do. Okay, right? I don't know why we don't have volume. Apologies about that. Let's be sure. All right, so you want to go back and look at how screen, from what we've shared. If you have given your child a gadget, family values, you can get that guy to help you to be able to do that. All right, create your family values, use that family values to create your family media plan. And then when you're done, the free guide that we're also going to share to people who are getting the family value plans will help them to create a family meeting guide. A family meeting guide. This family meeting guide will help you to be able to retrieve these values that you have created. So if you have created these values and you have created this whole system, then you will want to, sit back and begin implementation. So the family meeting is a way to give you access to implementation. So the implementation of your whole process, because it can be okay for you to just sit back and say, I know what it is that I'm doing. But the truth of the matter still remains, do we really know what it is that you're doing without actually sitting back to put these things in perspective? Like they say, there is nobody who makes plans and who does not make plan that will not fail. When you want to build a building, when you want to start a building, what is the first thing you do? The first thing you do is to look at the things that you can do, plan it, and then begin to put your things together. So you can't run this race. Like I said from the beginning, how to get your children when they're online. And you're telling me you do not have a plan, you do not have a strategy, and you're telling me that all you need is we had how you can set up this meeting and how frequent and how you can also put it together. And then a template in my own home, we print out this template. We're even making a family meeting album so that at every the whole thing that how you want your family to run. I'm guessing that the people on YouTube can hear me now. How you want your family to run. How do you want your family to run? What values do you want your children to have? I saw my interview last year on 700 Club. I was on 700 Club last year. I was also on 700 Club interview this year. And last year I was sharing on value system. But I saw that I still posted it on my YouTube channel. It's right here. You can find it. And I was sharing on value system. And I was saying that what will speak to your children are the values that you have created eventually. And these values are not values that you're creating on the screen. They're not. They're not. So if you have given your child a phone, I am saying that again. Your teenager have a phone, your preteen, retrieve. Start all over. Create these processes and walk your child through it. Please do not take these things we have said here for granted. They are real. You need to walk your child. You need to create a child that can stand in this whole system that we have today. I said earlier that the Gen Z is going to have issue with social skills, and that without social skills, people are not going to be able to make money. Why? Because it is social communication that actually gives you the ability to become, financially, literate. It gives you the ability to create value and make something out of the value that you have created. So if you have a child who is lagging behind on social skills, then you have a problem. You have a problem. So you might want to, rethink the whole process of putting your children constantly on a screen just because you do not have time. All right. So we're concluding on this session. All right, and we want to take your questions, all the questions that you have. We apologize for the people who streamed live on our YouTube channel. We found out ahead that audio. They said audio was off. I don't know why, but I can still see myself, with the audio on. All right. So if you have any questions, please share in the comment section so that we can have this conversation. Don't forget, we have this offer for you to build your family value from scratch. This is a guide that gives you insight on how to build your values, also gives you insight on how to build your family tagline. We have a family tagline, all right? Gives you insight on how to, thanks, all right, Omolola. Gives you insight on how to build your family mission. Gives you insight on how to build your family vision. Is there any vision? The Bible says that when there is no vision, the people perish. Vision is the problem. So if the family has a vision that they are chasing, then the family is there to fly. Your family is a business, it's an entity. So you must take your family that way. All right. So you'll be able to create all that. So I call it the 3-in-1 guide. So instead of us separating, the family values will help you create both the mission, the vision, the tagline, and the values. And then we have the family meeting plan that helps you to run through templates. How you can begin to retrace this value system that you have. How you can begin to retrace, some of those things that you have been able to build through. All right. Please and please and please. All right. Family tagline. Someone is asking me, what is a family tagline? Okay. All right. I'm going to share a bit on family tagline now. Right. So what I was saying is that if you do not have if you pay for the family media family value plan, the family value guide, you get a free copy from me. This is my gift today for everybody who's paying within 24 hours. After 24 hours, it's going to be up for you to actually sell it. Please, it will not, I repeat, it will not be free after 24 hours. So if you're paying for the family value guide, you're going to get that family meeting guide from me. What I share with you they're just templates, all right? And they also have guides. If you've got a copy of the family media guide, I'm sure you will know how these things, work. So these are templates that will help you to be able to build, these things, in a good way. So when somebody is asking me, what is the family tagline? All right, so I'm going to explain that. Right, so when you're about to build a mission and a vision, right, you want to look at the tags, look at what it is, that one word that everybody is known for or that your family is known for in your home. All right, by the time you've built your value, you've looked at everything, then there will be a tag, right? There will be a tag. This is the family tagline, like a tag that we are a family of blah 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 and all that. So it depends on how you do it. So just like every successful company that actually have a tagline, All right. So if your family doesn't communicate, what it wants to be, the dynamics of that family will fall apart. That's the truth. So you need to get creative. So an example of a family tagline is our family is built on faith. Our family is built on God's love. Our family is created to change the world through our purpose. That is my family tagline. Do you have a family tagline? Have you thought of what a family tagline, could be? All right. Have you thought of what a family tagline could be? Awesome. All right. So these are family taglines. So the short form, what our family mission and vision is created on, is our family is created to change the world through purpose. So what we create, out of it is our mission, our vision, and we are able to put all that together. That's what a family tagline is. Create one. Don't leave it to chance. There is nothing that you can leave to chance that works. Please create this mission, create this vision. All right. Someone is asking, for the people asking for account to pay on. If you look at the description of the video you're watching, you find the account number. If not, we're going to respond to you as soon as we're done. All right. Create the description of what you want to see your family as. Don't just sit down and say, oh no, it's just our family. You need to create, what do you visualize? Then make it a dream. A family can't thrive if it's not dreaming. Ensure your dream is big and the dream is not off limits. Yes, you can create a dream, create this vision as a dream. You can even create it as a board. You know the way you get into a company and you have a mission statement in the board in a very visible place. Let your family think as your family as a business. When you do that, it will help you. So in this guide, we share how to be specific, how you can start, how you can write your family vision statement, how you can start your family mission statement. We all know these things, but the problem is, do we really know, what it is that we can put in it? What is the purpose of a family? What kind of family do you want to, have? These are some of the checklists that we shared in this family vision and mission statements and mission, guide. So these guides are all in one. So the family value guide helps you your mission, create your tagline, create your vision, and you'll be able to look at it. So when you have conversations with your children, you're able to say, what do we stand for in this family? So you're no longer assuming. You're no longer just assuming that your children just know what you're talking about. No. You have, gotten to a point where your children understand. So when you say, what does this family stand for? I remember that when our first daughter went for NYC, and when she got there, because, part of, what we share is empathy. And part of what made her become the best copper in the whole of the state was empathy. So empathy can actually change a lot for you. That is our belief system. Do you have a belief system? What will your children hang on when they are out there? Or you're just going to assume that they know? They don't. If you assume your children know what is out there, the truth of the matter is that it will fail. It will crumble. Any family that is not seriously put together, that is not seriously created on great foundations, is going to have, problems. That's the truth. All right. So it's important that you begin to look at some of the things that you have. So in that free media plan that you get, that we also share, that we are sharing, when you pay for the family value guide, please, it's only for 24 hours. The 1K for the family value guide and for you to get a free family meeting plan is for 24 hours. After 24 hours, please don't pay 1K. Please do not. So in that meeting plan, part of what we shared, because I've seen that people say we're having family meeting. Yeah, the place is so chaotic. The parents become the alpha and the omega. And they're just speaking, they sit down, they lecture everybody, the children. That's not what it is. All right. Some of the checklists that we shared is the act of using I in the statement during the meetings. Another thing that we shared in the checklist is the act of allowing your children also lead. We have had cases where our children, our own meetings come with fun. So great. So we gave you a template where your meeting will come with fun, not the it is time to tell everybody they are sin. You sit down here, I tell you what you have done. No, that's not what it is. That's not what it is. So your meetings are for progress. They are not for perfection. Our meetings are for progress. They're not for perfections. All right. We also shared, the time. It is a time to retrain family values. So if you, the moment you get, a copy of the family value guide, you straight away are going to get the family meeting guide. That is the only time in 24 hours that we will do this. The offer is off after 24 hours. After 24 hours, each of the guide will cost you 1,500, and you can get, the three of them and walk through with them. All right. This will be sent right in your system. If you're doing in 24 hours, you will have a copy of this by tomorrow, right in your email. So please, if you look at the description, if you are on Facebook, you are going to see the account details and what you need to do if you make payment for this guide. All right. I can't seem to see more questions, but one thing is very key. If there's nothing you learned today, like I said, your family needs to come up and wake up as a system. Your family is an entity. Treat it as such. Begin to recreate the things that you know, the things that you used to know. The world is no longer the way it used to be. Our parents had values, but many of us didn't even know what their values were. We some of them we were able to see, they lived, some of them we couldn't. But if you are able to retreat, like I said, our foster daughter, was able to say she has seen herself in situations and she asks, what do we believe in this home? These are some of the things that will echo in the head of your child when they are out there on their own. When our children are in school, they say sometimes things happen and they will say, in our home, we don't. You need to retreat it. And the family value, guide will help you to be able to create this value. And this meeting guide will also help you to be able to sit at it and look at it again. Again, we have 3 guides. The family media plan, which already was launched last week. If you want a copy, the family media plan is 1,500. If you want a copy, you can get a copy. It's separate, it's on its own. But the family value guide, which was created out of request from many parents who bought the family media plan, and we actually, have gotten it ready, and you will get them in your emails by tomorrow. If you pay 1,000 naira within 24 hours only, and you will also get a copy of our family meeting guide for free. We're not selling, for free in 24 hours. So if you pay in 24 hours, you have access to that in one day, right? So after one day, each of the guides will swap back and be sold for 1,500. But I assure you one thing. All the parents who had access to our family media guide were blown away. We're not sharing things that you just, put together and just know. We're giving you facts, things that you can look at and it makes sense to you. Thank you again for joining me. It's an awesome time anytime here. I appreciate every single one of you for being here. Right? If you're just joining me, thank you. And if you have questions, we're going to wait for a few questions if there is any. If you have questions, please share with us. Share with us. All right? For those of us who are asking us for account number, we're going to share right now on the group. All right, but if you look at the description, we're going to share in the comment section. But if you look at the description of this webinar, if you're on Facebook, you will find them. All right. Okay. So, and thank you so much for being here. Let's see, what did you learn anything from this session? Or ask your questions. All right, you can tell us one thing that you learned from this session, or you ask your questions. We'll be glad to see your feedback. Thank you for always. We are honored, we are grateful. Thank you, everyone, for always joining us, in this class. It's usually so awesome to have people join us every Tuesday. So every Tuesday we are here sharing, and I know that some people also wanted to know about our courses. We have one that is launching on the 21st of this month, and the course is Walking Your Child Through Poverty. you can also see the details in our in the group. The details are all there, all over. All right, we will find out the details everywhere. So um, we're going to help you share this account details as we are here, so that you can use that. And please, you will, like I said, you will have these details, and also will have what's it called, a number to also stream live. Thank you so much for joining for all you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you for believing that we can walk this journey with you. Thank you, everyone. I'm grateful. I'm honored. Right? But if there's any question, write anywhere on this conversation. I will respond to it. I will take time to go through the comments and respond to all the questions. Thank you, and do have an amazing day.